Good evening, everyone. It's Friday, and it was like last night, really. Everything goes tonight, especially what I do the Ukraine war, what's going on there, the threats by Zelensky on Putin. He's going to take him out, which will be the biggest mistake that they'd ever do. They would ever do. And Europe is saying, yeah, go, let's have a go. Be the biggest mistake Europe could ever make as well. So we'll be talking about that. Be talking a lot of things as well. One of the lads said to me, "Hey Frank, why is Liverpool, never mentioned?" We'll be talking about that. I'm talking about the city of Liverpool. I don't mean the football side of it. I'm talking about the city. And he was right. Why isn't Liverpool? You can imagine the most important. Do you know when you see a map of the country, the whole of the UK? When you see it, especially on the weather, BBC weather, whatever. Do you know that ports, very important ports, are shown? Are shown. Very important ports. Simply because of turbulent weather. Could be anything. And they have to show the ports. Have a guess what port's not shown? Out of a lot of them. Out of a lot of them. Yeah, you guessed it. So anyway, we'll be talking about a lot of things, and I suppose when someone puts in a comment, which will be totally different from what I've just been saying, by the way. What I've been saying, and we discussed that as well. We discussed that. Try and not bring football into it. But I know someone will, and not to. But we don't mind that, to be honest. Right, so let's see who's here. Joins us. Myra, our lovely Myra. Hi, Frank and friends. Hiya, Myra. And Gary. Hi, Myra and Frank and chat. Hiya, Gary. Hiya, mate. And Myra to Gary. Hi, Gary. Steve Malone. Hi, Frank. I made a couple of comments today on Fozzie's podcast. Did you? I never watched it, You'll have to let me know what you said, to be honest, Steve. You'll have to. Because it's becoming ridiculous now. And the master, the wood master. If you want, a swing made from a branch, he's the man. If you want one of those like houses that you build in trees, for the kids, he's the man. Everything, because he's a wood master. I remember when I first took up woodswork, in school. I won't tell you about it. And what he wants with us to make. Oh, dear. Anyway, the woods. Hiya, Frank and chat. Hope we are reasonably well. Going to my boat. I can't move. Can't move tomorrow. Why did you do a 25-mile little jog? Marathon, that is. And your legs are not moving. They're all aches and pains. Is that what happened there, master? I can't move. You just can't make these up, can you? Honestly, you can't. And stay to Myra. Hi, Myra. Hi, Gary. Lovely. Lovely. And Toscana, the lovely Toscana. Ciao Franco and Co. Hope you're all well. Well, they'll all be well, to be honest. Especially with you asking, Toscana. And the master said, if you want it made, I promise you I won't be able to. Is that because you can't move tomorrow? Oh, jeez. I'm getting my haircut tomorrow. I'm going to get it all short. Not baldy, like, but it's going to be short. You'll be able to see my ears. It's coming tomorrow, 1 o'clock, to cut me mad head. And Steve Miller, I seen today a fashion Ratanese. He posted a reel from Russian TV that London, Birmingham, and Manchester would be the main targets. Oh, right, okay. Not Liverpool. I know during the Cold War, Liverpool was the blackest spot in Europe because of all the nuclear stuff coming through the port during the Cold War. Right up until 1990. I never looked at it after that, 1990. After the wall came down in 89, the year before. And when Gorbachev said, listen, to the Americans, you're not moving east. No, not an inch. Not an inch. The Americans are liars, always have been, always will be. Always warmongering. Trying to bully. Well, they do bully. They do bully. They can't bully what's happening today. Did you notice, I mentioned this a few weeks ago, that there was a General Clark, Wesley Clark, and he has a piece of paper, and you're talking 1999, and you had all these places in the Middle East, and a couple of Africans. Well, I only know Somalia, I don't know the other African country, unfortunately. And he said, we're going to take all these out. In other words, to destabilize the Middle East and parts of Africa. And there was a reason behind it. And the last name to take on was Iran, because they knew Iran was a lot tougher than everywhere else. And it's proved so. It's proved so. Because the reason behind going into these places, that there'd be a mass movement of millions of people, migrants going into Europe to destabilize Europe. That was the goal. That was their target. And it's happened. And this is why Europe is in such a horrendous state. So is the Middle East, no getting away from the Middle East and what's happening there. All because of these people who wear very tiny hats. All because of them. And Phil. Hello, Frank and Chatters. Hello, Phil. Lovely Myra. Hi, Steve Mulholland. Hiya, Phil. Sorry, I'm not really laughing, Master. I'm not really laughing. Honest. You might think I am. I'm not. Woodmaster, I'm not really laughing. But I have to read this out. I have to read it up. I'm not laughing at you. Honestly, I'm just laughing at something else that came to my mind. Anyway, me boat's stuck in Northampton in a drought, but I'll be wearing the colours. Oh, God, blimey, there's no answer to that. To me, I'll be wearing my colours. Lindsay says, even in Frank and all, see, they have officially bought into LFC. Yeah. Yeah. What did I say? Someone will mention football twice now. That's it. But we will talk about it, really. And Phil, are you married? And the Woodmaster says, Iran, the last country in the world not controlled by the Rothschild banking company. No, they are not. No. No. And all the lies coming out about what Trump said. We control Hormuz Strait. We can let ships go in and out. You know, they can let all the boats in. But what's he going on about? And what Iran has said, you know, they've got to go along with the Iranian demands before it's open. And I was watching this absolute. I don't know. You know what kind of a fella this idiot is? Some American on that Fox News, and he was saying, "Yeah, we've got to go. You know, we do control this. We've got to get rid of this regime. We've got to do that. We've got to do that. You know, for the people of the globe, the world, we've got to do this for because the oil has stopped flowing. We've got to open it." Does that same arsehole know that just before Trump got his fingers into Iran, that the Strait of Hormuz was opened to everybody? And it's they who stopped it 2 months ago. It's they who have caused this economic crisis. And it's going to get worse. You might think, oh, you know, like people are over the top, even like myself, you know, over the top. I'm not. I do know about the economics situations when they really hit. I go back to 73. And the power men went on strike. And who were the power men? The miners. They went on strike. And there was blackouts here. Blackout. And it was around Christmas that I went to buy a new suit. And I was trying this on in candlelight. Candlelight, I was trying it on. I get home. And the next day, I looked at, and it was a different colour. It was a different colour. I said, I'm bringing this fucking back. There's no way I'm going to wear that. Because it didn't suit the colour. Anyway, my mate, you know, he was in the house and he said, I said, you come along with us? He said, yeah. He said, the best thing for you to do. He said, Damon can change that. He said, was you looking at it before it went dark? Or I said, no, candlelight. And he said, light a candle. Have you got a candle? I said, yeah. He said, light a candle and put on the back, on your back. He said, I'll do it. He said, we'll put some candle grease on it. And just say you got that on, because they mightn't change it, you know. because you got the colour wrong, no matter what you say. But if you went in with candle grease on the back of it, they've got to change you because you got changed in candlelight. I said, good idea. And I did it. And they did. I got another suit. And that's what it's like now. It's going worse. And Phil says to Steve, and I imagine Stanlow, Fawley, Humberside, Pembroke refineries will each get an Arishnik. The docks, channels, tunnels, and we'd be stuck. Do you mean fucked? Yes. Yes. Seaforth will get us here. But if Seaforth gets us, it's affects us. We'd be gone. That little town will be gone. Oh, Billy. Want to say to Franco and all, hope, and all, hope your day has been, yes. Yeah, it's been quiet for me. And Lindsay says, sorry, what are you sorry for? Cedric. You said, big up the legend, Frank. By the way, here on point. And Jen says, hi, chat, hope you're all staying cool. How cool is he? Hey, and he was saying, you don't know who Jen is, do you? It's Jennifer Aniston. Lovely Jen. Thanks for that, Cedric, mate. And tell Jen I've still got the poster up in my bedroom of her. And Brad. Stephen, I don't understand why we are an island surrounded by water and we are supposed to be having droughts. Why can't we have desalination and irrigation pipes for farms during hot weather? I know we're surrounded by water. I understand that it's surrounded by water, but it's all salt water, isn't it, really? Unless you can make it into salt, into fresh water, which they have. They've got these tablets, haven't they? I remember going in under the city in Liverpool. I'm going back to the 90s or in the early part of the millennium. And I went right under the city. And you should have seen what I seen there. Just in case of a nuclear attack. During the Cold War, by the way. During the Cold War, a nuclear attack. But it's still in place today. And what I seen was unbelievable. These two surveyors brought me around. They said, don't say no, will you? I said, no. I said, out. And that's it, you know what I mean? It's incredible. Michael Dooley. Hi, Frank, did you ever see the American comic Bill Hicks? The comic Bill Hicks, he died in 1994, age 32. He said the Americans were the bullies of the world. That man was way ahead of his time about a lot of things. No, I didn't. Bill Hicks and the comic, no. But they are bullies. I've known that from a young man. Bullies. They want to rule the world. They want to police the world. on their say, no matter what. No matter what. Look, we're saturated. You've only got to put the TV on. And we're saturated with American soap things and American films. We're saturated with them. That's to get you into the American way of life. And people don't understand that. You know, they watch a film, they go, oh my God, I love that. And they do. I like American films, don't get me wrong. I like American TV series. But that's about it. Have I ever been to America? No. Was I ever go to America? No. No. Albeit it's long ago. I've been invited over to America on numerous occasions. From Tampa to California, right up to New York and Chicago, up north. I've been invited everywhere, even Seattle. Even Seattle. Been invited there, up there. That's New York State. No, it's not. But anyway, I've been invited there. Seattle. And I wouldn't go. And these are to nice, dear people. Lovely people. Nope. And Phil says, Stephen, imagine all the billions they are wasting and feeding the MIC military complex. Our country can be improved and more jobs. Phil, they're telling us what to do, and we have to follow suit. Remember Obama when he said if that Labour get in, you're going to the back of the queue. Obama, during the general election. Remember that? You'll go to the back of the queue. And what does he do for his own country? Brought them into war. Every American president after JFK have brought them all into wars. And the woman being stuck in Northampton, I've seen all the fields already harvested and the yield is 50% less than last year. The crap is going to hit the fan very soon. Yes. And Cedric to the woodman. I'll dance. Not sure it will help. The rain dance. But you know what? This is not as bad as 76. During the 76, it's terrible. And it was like that from the March. Every day. No respite of heat and sun. Right up to the beginning of September. And that was in 76. And the woodmaster says there is graffiti in Birmingham on a bridge. It says Bill Hicks was right. Really? Really? And the master says, Cedric, get dancing, lad. Get your brother creepers on. Will do, Frank. That's the Jen. Our Jen. Jennifer Aniston. Lovely girl. I still think she wants Brad back, you know. And the Woodmaster says, Israel is proof. You can turn a desert into green land. Desalinate, yes. That's what they want to do on the West Bank. How Israel made their desert into land for crops in 1940, it can be done. They've done it in, I'm not saying Israel, but they've done it in Saudi. They've got golf courses in Saudi. And Phil. Frank, the data center use huge amounts of water. All the advertisements to reduce our use of water wouldn't be building lots of data center, would they? No. No, you're right, spot on that. Capitalism is the new religion, says the Woodman. Yep. It always has been to the Americans. Nothing for you here if you're not a capitalist. Oh, do you mean the train, Phil? There's a vanity project only to benefit London. Absolute waste. It cost billions. And I remember Boris Johnson going, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to... And he stopped it then, didn't he? Stopped. But it was, you're right. It didn't come into Liverpool, though, did it? Didn't come into the Northwest. I remember, I forget who it was, one of our councillors said, why isn't it coming into Liverpool? And the answer to that was, oh, you can easily get a train from Liverpool to Manchester and get it there. That was it. That was it. Get a train in Manchester to get up there. Fucking hell. And without Liverpool, there'd be no trains in the world. And the Woodmaster, 276 people used to throw away food today. Some households throw out more than they eat. Yeah, that's right. My mum went on a cruise and he touched Africa. Where did they touch? I think it was Tanzania. I think they touched because they went around the Cape of Good Hope. And anyway, they went around there. They touched on Tanzania. I think she touched there. I think it was there. Yeah, it was there. And they were standing on the deck. You know, when they were getting off to go on a coach trip, you know. And some of their friends said, I'm not going out there. No, they had to stay here until we get off. You know, away from there. Anyway, was it Tanzania? Yeah, it was. It was Tanzania. And when they were looking over, they seen all the people in the bins looking for food. That's why some of them said, I'm getting going out into the country, even if it is on a coach. But we throw out. America throws worse. Have you seen I stream America quite a lot. And I hope I don't get into trouble with this. I really don't, but the majority of women, black women, are so obese, it's unbelievable. And I mean obese. Whether they're young, teenagers, or even at school, right up to the mothers and grandmothers, they're so obese. I go, obviously they're not eating the right foods. Might be just fast food. Really, it shocked me. And I'm not just picking on like the black people, the black ladies. I'm not picking on them, but just have a look at them, God, every one of them. And Phil says, Frank, just fucking into paper. Tucking, is that sucking? Just tucking into paper. One pear tree and a bucket full of pears, shared with all the name. Oh, that's nice. That's nice, though. I thought that was fucking into the bottle. I'm sorry. I apologise to our lovely chatters for getting a word wrong, as usual. Global warming conspiracy. Have they stopped putting the fire breaks into the ground to stop the wildfires spreading in places like Australia? Why are they doing that? You're right, Michael. We're in the 21st century and we still can't get it right. Does anyone get an alert on the phone then? I did just before I come on. 7 o'clock. About barbecues. It was a government alert. It was going beep, beep, beep. I thought Zelensky had sending over a missile as a red flag to us. And it was just like, if your barbecues, make sure that they're out. Don't be having too many barbecues, so you're getting warned. It's cooling down now, though, isn't it? And Steve Galochlan. Good evening, Frank and chatters. Hope everyone is well. So, peace out. Yes. Gary, evening, everyone. Evening, Gary. Steve Holland. RFK says he doesn't eat junk food and only when Trump tells him to. Exactly. Look at all the fast foods here. I made up with my little granddaughter, yesterday when I said, "Do you want a Big Mac?" She went, "No, Granddad, I don't eat things like that." Okay, great. Because it was getting brought home, you see. And McDonald's was there. No. And Phil. Frank, you're on one tonight. By the way, lots of obese people and I started to lose weight 4 months ago. 1 stone of lard gone. I put it on. Me. I've got you 1 stone of lard, to be honest. But I've put weight on. And Steve says, I deactivated government alerts on my phone. Did you? How'd you do that? I can't do anything like that. I'm useless, you see. And Steve McLaughlin says, Yeah, my phone went off, thought we were all dead, and had minutes to live with my phone going off, like saying goodbye to the world. And the woodmaster say, "What are your opinions on Corbyn? Could be the best leader we never had." Everybody says that. Everybody, but you know who got Adams, don't you? And albeit that there was some tiny hats who were saying, he's a nice man, he's not anti-Semitic or anything like that. And others saying he's not a racist. There wasn't a racist thing in his body. And the policies he had to start off with, it didn't suit the American way of life. The deep state, the WEF, just didn't suit them at all. And they said, "You've got to get rid of this fella." And got rid of him, they did. Because he would have been the next Prime Minister. And I really think that it was rigged anyway, that Theresa May had got it. When she defeated him, but she defeated him in a certain way. And it was too close to call as well. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. Because you've only got to look now. I reckon now that we won't have elections for parties. We'll just be electing one man, like the Americans. I think that's been proved with Andy Burnham, because who brought him in? The WEF, America. America brought Burnham in. Yeah, you get in. Put him in. Saying to us, put him in. Going against our traditional governmental elections. That's been going for years. So we won't have a Prime Minister. We will not have a Prime Minister. We will have a President. And it'll just be like the ballot box in America. That's what it'll be like. And it'll just be like two running. They'll have people. So you're going to have, like, whoever they are, where they have debates on the telly. And then the people decide, "Oh, no, put him forward or put her forward." Just like they did with Trump and Kamala Harris. But she was a complete and utter idiot. And that's the way it'll go with us now. Especially the way they just brought in Burnham. You think about it. He was the mayor of Manchester. He was the mayor of Manchester. They said, "Yeah, you better stand there." Even if I'm telling you now, do you know if he was being defeated in that by-election, I still think they would have just said, "Put him in. He's one of us." That's why you've got, when was it, yesterday? That fella, Binface, he was up against, for that by-election, and he was defeated. Binface, because the likes of Labour or Conservatives didn't want to fight it out, simply because they knew. I don't like the man, to be honestly. I do not like the man. That is their party again, hands down. And that'll put Labour and Conservative further back. That's why they didn't go in to stand against the Farage man. That's how bad it's going, people. And Stephen Cochrane says, wildfires now spreading across the UK. God help the animals. So sad. I've always said that. The animals, that's who I feel sorry for. It's a pity number 10 wasn't right in the middle of the woods, wasn't it? Where the wildfires are. Yep, exactly. Right, a person who was never even a minister given the highest job in the land, says the woodman, of course. Of course. Everything is crooked. Everything is corrupt. Our country is corrupt. And we can't see that. Well, we can. But ordinary people. I'll tell you what it's like. Some of you are in grey, some of you most probably. I don't know who. And it goes back to Ukraine. It goes back to Ukraine. Now, believe it or not, I knew about Ukraine just through history, that's all. And I knew what they did in the Second World War because they were fighting alongside the Nazis. And anyone who stood in the way, they were executed. And that's where this Bandera comes into it. A fella named Stepan Bandera. Horrible man. And he ended up killing hundreds, I think it was around, more than 400,000 people. Executed them. Digging ditches, lining them up, shooting them all, hanging them, just killing them. Bandera, Stepan Bandera, and his band. The fellas behind him, the Nazis behind him. Yeah, okay. Now you've got in Ukraine today Banderites. So they stem from Stepan Bandera in the Second World War. So their ideology stems from Bandera. And they hate Russia. They hate them. Always have. And then you look at the EU. The EU are the biggest Russophobes on the planet. Besides the Azovs. Now you might think, where are you going with this? I'll tell you where I'm going. Remember when I said about that Wesley Clark, the General Wesley Clark, and destabilising the Middle East, and he wanted to destabilise Europe? What do you think the proxy war is? What do you think the proxy war is? The proxy war is with Ukraine by America is to destroy Russia. That's what they wanted to do, and go in and take all their resources, like they did under Yeltsin, with the help of Ukraine. NATO were there in Ukraine, having war games with Ukrainian soldiers, and they built Ukraine up into a massive army. It was the biggest army in Europe, by the way. And they really thought that they could take on Russia. And they went, we're ready. So they said, okay. So now they had to get rid of the president of Ukraine, who was democratically elected by the majority of Ukrainians. So they had to overthrow him. And they did in 2014. They overthrew. And they put in puppets. And this is why Zelensky's there. He's one of the puppets. But they needed someone that could come out and say speeches. And what was he? He was an actor. They brought in an actor. They gave him speeches. They're telling him what to say every today. Go and say that you're going to take Putin out. All this just to get into Russia. And it's backfired. It's backfired. Because all the sanctions, 20-odd sanctions on Russia, hasn't worked. Now Russia have come out because what they've been doing, the West, have been taking out ships, oil tankers. Now they've got submarines now, and they've sent them out to guide the Russian ships because Putin said, if another tanker's hit, you will feel the consequences, whoever hits it. So he's threatening them now. He's just gone to like these islands off Japan. Current. And the Japanese are going mad. But Putin's just said, I'm not fucking interested in what you're saying. And Medvedev has come out and said, start messing around with Russian territory and feel the consequences. So now they're gearing up because that's in the Pacific, these islands, that the Japanese once controlled. Now they don't. They do some, but not this part of the islands. That belongs to the Russian Federation. You know why they're there, don't you? Because they can't let, that's a very strategic for Russia, the Pacific. So there's no way that they're going to give up this little island, piece of island. It's like Europe. You're getting all these idiots thinking that Zelensky can still win. Can still win. Can still win, but it's all propaganda because they know that they can't win. The gloves now have come off Russia. They blockaded Odessa, so Ukraine can't move. And Russia has warned everybody else in that sea, mess around with any of our ships. And as Medvedev said, feel the consequences. Feel the consequences. They've said it. You've only got to look at Italy. Did you hear about that big explosion where they make... I'm not talking that it was Russia, by the way. I'm not saying it was Russia. But you've got to look at what Giorgia Meloni said. She said, I'm not bringing in any more migrants. And I'm going to chase some. That's because her premiership is threatened by this fella. I forget his name. I always forget this fella's name. And she'll be ousted next year. And she doesn't want that. So she's trying to make, come to terms with what the ordinary Italians are saying about these migrants coming in. And most of them are illegal. So now, this place where they make all these missiles and everything, and especially for Ukraine, blown up. Who are they blaming? They're going to blame Russia. But I don't think so, because what does von der Leyen always say? We have tools. She said it to Obama. She said it to Georgescu of Romania. She keeps saying, she said it to Vučić of Serbia. We have tools. She hasn't the fucking tools there. She's a complete and utter fucking idiot. And she's running, who was put in power by the WEF, not an elected person. If she went anywhere in Europe and said, vote for me, no one would vote for her. You wouldn't, and I wouldn't. I do know that. But this is what it's like, people. You had a drone in Germany, but it has explosives on. And this is at an airport, a strategic airport. And people are going mad, the Germans. But the Germans are so fucking stupid, they haven't a fucking clue, especially Merz. And Merz is so far down in public opinion that he's going to be ousted very soon. You've got France. These are all the people that support Ukraine, you know. So Merz is going to go. Starmer, he fucking went supporting Ukraine. Right? You've got the French. French have been at it for fucking years against Macron. But who's leading now? And she's going to get in, and that's that Le Pen. Marie Le Pen. She's going to win. And she's a hard right. She said, I'm going to get rid of a lot of them. And she's got a massive following, because how she's got a massive following, she appealed. You know, the ordinary French, working class French, who've been struggling with Macron for years. For years. They just got fed up with it. Because of what is allowing to come into the country. So she's just come out and said, okay, I'll stop it all. And they'll all go as well. So everyone's made up with it. That's why, you know, she was right down here. You know, here, in the polls. And she even went to jail, didn't she? Or, you know, and she's got to wear a tag on her ankle. And they said you'll never become president. Not only that, you know, your status of being a politician has been taken away, but now she's back in. And she's rising. And she's that far ahead of Macron's party. And she's going to get in. These are all ordinary. Look at Sanchez, Spain. These are ordinary people like us who know about Ukraine, who know about the WEF and America and what's happening. Somebody like yourselves, they know as well. Everyone. Everyone. I hope I've made that clear. Most probably I haven't, but done my best. The Webmaster. On the day Burnham got the job, he shook hands with the head of the Bank of England and gave him the Mason handshake for getting him the job, caught on camera. The answer to that is there. Just have a look at the dollar note. Have a look at it. If you've got a dollar. Or just get it up on your fucking YouTube or whatever, Google it and see the pyramid there. In my adult lifetime, I've never seen a prime minister that has been committed wholly to the electorate majority, all do the deep state's bidding. Yes, says Phil. Excuse me a minute. And the woodmaster, a mate of mine, stupidly joined the mate. Eventually, he got kicked out for leaving his white gloves at home, and he had a load of dog crap on his shoe and wiped it on the black and white floor tiles. Go away. Is that true? Well, that's a joke. I gave 2 lunchtime talks, and people will know where this is, Scousers. And it's in Oak Street, and it's the Mason Building. And he said, "Will you come out?" This nice fella, he said, I said, "Yeah, okay." So I gave a lunchtime talk there. And I've actually, I don't know whether I've got, there's a big photo, but I've got a photograph. I think I have, or I've got rid of it, deleted it on my phone. And I went along, gave the talk, everybody was made up. It was lunchtime, I had a lunch. And then I was called again a couple of months later. So I went along, gave another talk. So when I went and gave the talk, they said, "Do us a favour, Frank, would you?" And anyway, I went with them through these corridors and things. And there was 3 chairs, one big middle one. He said, "Will you sit on there?" So I said, "Yeah." Anyway, I sat on it. And there was 2 fellas beside. I never had a fucking clue what it was. So anyway, they took the photograph. And then they sent for me again, not for a talk, but like just a chat and a sit down and a chat. And they wanted me to join. I said, "No." I said, "If you wanted me to give a talk about the history of Liverpool, I will. But I'm not joining your band of men. It'll be good for you, I said, "I don't want to join you." Just like I refused a gong. Not for me. Sick and tired of hearing about war and death, Frank, says Stephen Coughlin. It's never ending. As it's sad news seeing innocent people getting killed along with kids. It's kids mostly. I've got some horrendous photographs. Horrendous. Children. What's happening to them in their homeland, and no one's batting a fucking eyelid. And the little copite. Big up, Frank, lad. Are you a little copite? And Steve Malone says, "A lot of people got behind that bin face, but his name is Sam, who writes for BBC shows. I can tell he is a Russophobe by some of the memes he posted. The election was a terrible waste of money." I'm not being funny, but every single one, I might be exaggerating there, I think. I hope so. But all the politicians are Russophobes. And I don't know why. I don't know why. It's shocking. Russia saved us. Russia saved us. And Phil says, Frank, the latest town to be taken by Russians discovered hundreds of bodies, mercenaries. The face had been mutilated to try and prevent identities. NATO soldiers' bodies were booby-trapped. Yeah, that's just what they're doing. They tried to blame, I think it was the Telegraph, came out the other day, have a look at this. And you just see people getting dragged into vans and that and being brought to the front. And he said they're the Russians. They're the Russians doing that. There's more volunteers in Russia by young men to join a fighting force than anywhere else in the world. You had a horrible, what's his fucking name in America? Oh, forget his name. He's on Fox News. And he was saying, what's wrong with our men? What's wrong with our young men not wanting to join up? He's a Russophobe. And he's also, he wants to just go and bomb fucking Iran to smithereens. He wants to obliterate the whole of Iran. And that's this fella. He's tiny, as you can guess. Supports Israel to the hilt. Supports them. And he's wanting young Americans to join up to go and fight in Iran. And fight anyone else who disagrees with America. This is him. Forget his name. He's a right prick, put it that way. But as I said, I'm sorry, this is just being watched and it's itchy. So it's the way it is today. It's the way it is. Everybody hates Russia. Everybody. Europe. But not the ordinary people. Because they know the score. They know the score. I can't say about Israel, about people loving it or hating it, to be honest. But I do know the score, but don't mention anything on here, please. Please. The Woodmaster says Zelensky started off as a neo-Nazi ultra from Dynamo Kiev. Channel 4 made the documentaries about him, saying he's one of the most dangerous people in the world and needs to be locked up. Yes, needs locking up. Yes. He is. See, don't forget that he's doing the dirty war by assassinating. You haven't heard of one assassination by Russia. They could take anybody out, but I think it'll happen now. I really do. They could have taken him out anytime they wanted. Anytime. And, I've been listening to experts who were saying the same. It could have been taken out anytime from day one. But they've said, no, let him carry on because he's just a complete and utter idiot. But they know that he's dangerous. And Phil says to the Woodmaster, hope he is captured. They do want him, they want us to put him on trial in Moscow. They want to put him on trial in an airmac. And that, what's his name? Well, forget his name as well. They're going to get them. They will. And guarantee you this, Zelensky will not live in peace anywhere in the world. You know, he's saying, oh, yeah, he's got a big $34 million thing in Florida mansion. He's not going to live there. He bought a little island in the Caribbean. He's not going to fucking live there. He's bought a massive vineyard in Italy. He's not going to live there. He's bought a bank in France. He's not going to get money out of there. He might do, but he's not going to fucking use it. And if Russia get him, they'll fucking take all that money. They'll confiscate it for reparation. And our busy, our busy. Good evening. Greetings from Heathrow Airport area of West London, sir. Love to the chat room. Our busy. He's a football fan, by the way. Our busy. I missed a bit. Good evening, John Franco and chat. Oh, you missed it, Tom. You missed it, Mr. B. Brilliant. I had Sting in before the beginning. You'll have to go back and watch it. Sting. He was going on about Zelensky. He said, "Oh, don't you like him, Frank?" I said, "No." And you know, if you even read through the chatters, you know, they were saying, "No, we don't like him." Sting. He's only over there. He's doing it. He's doing a little bit of a show for a couple of weeks. Hello, Mr. B, and we're busy. How are feeling about the takeover situation at that famous club? I knew it. I fucking knew it. Thing is, honestly, Mr. B, what did I listen before all this fucking started? What did I say on my football show before all this nonsense kicked off? And I said about the economic situation, didn't I? Did I or didn't I? I know I did. And I said that FSG, because of the economic situation, will sell because they don't want to lose money. And the situation's going to go worse. And it is. It's going worse as I speak now. Because of Trump. That fucking idiot Trump. And I said that they'll sell. And then what happens at the end of the week? FSG are bringing in, an Indian group. And Bezos, of all people. Do you know anything about Bezos? I do. Forget the fucking Amazon thing. Forget that. He's only got 6 to 8% in that. Do you think for one moment he's just going to buy a stake in Liverpool Football Club and walk away and go, oh, yeah, let's see what happens? Do you think that? Nope. He's going to buy it all. It's more of a due diligence, to be honest. John Henry must have said, yeah, look, just buy a little stake, think what, and come, just watch it. I don't mean go to matches. You might go to a couple of matches, I don't know. But just watch the fan base. Watch the merchandise. Watch everything Liverpool as a whole business. Just watch it. That's why he's being brought in. That's why he's gone, okay. It's a due diligence thing. I'm telling you now. And we'll be taken over by him. And don't be surprised. Remember I was talking about I don't know what I was on here, but I was talking about the ground being expanded. And someone said, knock Anfield down and build a new ground. No, you don't fucking do that. You don't knock down Anfield. You don't do that, lad. But there is plans. Someone's come out with a plan for 100,000 seater Anfield, and it's so easily done. And it can be done without it moving. So if this Bezos takes over Liverpool football, I won't see it, but Liverpool Football Club will have 100,000 seater stadium. I'm telling you now. I'm happy the way it is. But it'll be a lot of corporate. Forget the locals. Forget me. Forget my granddaughter, my daughter, my grandsons, and you. Macron was outed by great Candace, isn't she? Phil, great. Brilliant she is. And she even goes on about Charlie Kirk's murder. She's saying, he never done it. This is what's happened. Phil, me man, you'll never walk alone. #97. Look, I've been swearing because of football. And lovely little Lauren's here and Max. Max is disappointed in me. I hope it hasn't got a tear in his eyes. Hi, Frankie. Hiya, Lauren. Hello. Have you sent me that email yet? About your English? And now we're busy. Frank, who put the camera on the moon in 1969 to watch the landing? How the fuck did they call the President of America on his landline? If JFK got shot from behind, head back to the left. No, he got shot here. And he got shot there. He got shot in the throat from the null. But that's all kept quiet. It's all kept quiet. No matter how you look at it. The CIA were involved. But the biggest culprits there were who organised his death and Bobby Kennedy's. Who organised their deaths. But as regards as the moon, anything can happen on the moon. Put the camera there. But, and anyone can put a green screen up. Look at my green screen. See? I even sit in Sherlock Holmes's study, his own, on another green screen. To get me meaning about who put the camera on. With the earth in the background. Earth. You and I sitting there as it takes off. There's a lot to be desired. Mr. B, no politician is worth trusting. No. They shaft everybody. Yes. Wars, money, oil. Yes. And Gary says, I can't stand Andy. And you know what? He's a Scouser. And do you know who else is a Scouser? You know the fella who gave a little piece of land to the tiny acts? Him. Scouser. I meet some decent stonemasons up here in Scotland. Stonemasons. They were good building the Anglican Cathedral. Stonemasons still work on it today, you know. Never there. It's a finished building, but they still need to be there on site, you know, cementing or whatever, taking bad pieces out and whatever they do anyway. Cracking stonework and our stunning buildings. Same here, Mr. B. Our lovely Bella. Hi, Franco. Marcella is going to write because a mum, you know, Italian, speaks English, but, you know, I think broken English as well. Well, she gets Marcella in. I think she's asked Marcella rather than Marcella's brother who says good night, and I thought they were leaving. That was great. That was funny. That was fun. Hi, Franco. Great discussion tonight, Franco. And Phil, interested to hear your thoughts on where local politics stroke Liverpool fits into all this. Okay. Yeah, just let me just read a couple of more and I'll get right into that. Because I did begin by saying, Marcella and Bella, that Liverpool, unfortunately, you mightn't believe this. Honestly, you mightn't believe what I'm going to say, and you go, oh, behave yourself. Just spare me out. Liverpool is a forgotten city. The only thing that keeps it going is football. You can't get away from Liverpool Football Club. You know, there's Everton there as well, but Liverpool is the main thing. That's the only thing. And I will explain in a moment or two what I mean. And why they're trying to make Liverpool disappear from everything. You might go, oh, behave. I'm telling you. And Bella says, Phil to Bella, I have written correspondence with my MP. Very disappointed to hear is towed a party line on funding wars. And Toscana, politicians have given up. You only have to listen to Burnham and Edwina Curry's nutters. The both of them. Maloney needs to do much more, but she's got her hands tied by the far left judiciary. Thing is, she's turning, but it's too late for Georgia. She's a neocon. She's a globalist. Too late for her. She's finished. Next season, next year, she'll be ousted. Because the ordinary people of Italy have had, well, you'll see that in a couple of weeks when you go over to your family in Tuscany. Unless they're all posh and follow Georgia, I don't know. Be interesting to see when you come back what they say. To be honest, I'm talking ordinary people. Because what I've heard is that they're just fed up with migrants coming in and destroying everything. And Phil says, Frank, my friend is Dane, lives in Poland with his Polish wife and kids. Lovely people, very educated, but we had to disagree about Ukraine and Russia. They become irrational about Russia. Of course they are. That's what they are. That's what they're all about. Yet they can't get their heads around the Azovs. Because they've got flags with the swastika on, waving it about, and they murdered hundreds of thousands of Poles. The Banderites in the Second World War, when the Banderites held Ukraine, just like they're doing today, but they're not fucking doing it anymore, are they? So Dane, nice fella, whatever, hasn't a fucking clue. His head must be up his backside about it. Ask him about the Azovs, if he fucking knows about them, because most probably he doesn't. But there's their Prime Minister came out a couple of weeks ago and said, which was pathetic, we don't want the flags of Azovs flying and, statues in Poland, in Ukraine, and they're all there saluting them and adoring them. But we don't want this in Poland. Why didn't he just say, fuck off? Because he's following America, the WEF. He's following von der Leyen. That's who they're following, the WEF. And Brussels telling him what to do. That's why he doesn't know anything. Mind you, why you might like them, there's 10,000 Polish mercenaries that have been killed. Why fight for Zelensky? Ukraine, they're dead now. There's been British captured. Oh, they'll be in jail now waiting trial. You wouldn't like to fucking go to the Black Dolphin. The jail there. Oh. Until the trial comes up. And you know that they could just be tried, put up against the wall and shot or hanged or anything. Thrown to the bears in a jail that's in the middle of a forest bigger than Germany. And the guards just say, well, fucking go if you want. Because you're not going to make it. Not that they'll kill them. Fucking big bears will. If the PD party gets in Italy, the country is finished. Just take a look at Bologna and Firenze, to name two. I love Bologna. Love Florence. Well, if you want to keep all the... See, All as I'm saying on this, if the ordinary Italians want to keep all the migrants coming in, that's fine, that's it. I've been watching beaches in Italy. They're fucking empty. No one's going. It's affected tourism, Toscana. It's affected tourism. And Italy depends on tourism, as you know. One of the most, it is the most visited country in the world because of the history and culture and everything. I love Italy. Love it. Not because of family ties, but because I just love it. And if this keeps going, I've been getting reports, honestly. This keeps going on. Fuck that. I won't be going. It's the way it is, the way it goes. And now we're busy says, does anybody that has O2 account get message from the government? I did. Yeah, before. I were busy. Stop going to barbecues and stop lighting them up. Anyway, let's get back to what they were saying about Liverpool. Liverpool, or what I'm saying about Liverpool. Does anybody, when you watch the BBC and they're showing you like the heat and they're showing you the weather? I don't watch BBC now, by the way. But you never see Liverpool on the map. No. Never. And Liverpool is a port, a major port. Don't see Newcastle, port. See Glasgow. You see Hull. See Southampton. See Liverpool. Oh, that's what you see. Now, if you're an Australian, g'day there, Mrs. Jason. Someone said to me, stop that accent. Do you remember that? Was it last night or the night before? Stop that accent. I won't. But anyway, if you're there, or if you're a Germaline, or if you're a France, if you're one of them, or a Yank. I'm not talking about Dennis Papara. Or if you're a Canadian and you're seeing Manchester, would they know where Liverpool is? Sorry, I said Yanks because they haven't a fucking clue. You show them an empty map, they don't even know where their state is, and that's proved to me. I've seen it. So, do you think where they know where it is? The only people who know where Liverpool is, believe it or not, is football fans. I'm talking about abroad. So why is Liverpool being forgotten by the British government? By certain things that's happening. People might know this, but Manchester, they suggested, your license plate on your car. Your license plate on your car. They wanted the letter N. Liverpool is 051. This is what people tend to forget. 051. Manchester, if you're going to dial it, is 061. So circumference, Liverpool is a lot bigger than Manchester. But they started to include You know, people like places well outside Manchester to make Manchester, Greater Manchester, look big, and they got away with it. But the ordinary people say of Wigan, they don't want that. They don't want to be under the fucking Manchester. So you sit, and Bolton as well. Bolton. You can't make these things up. And Liverpool, you know, as I said, they wanted the letter in for Manchester. So if you're at a like register a car and you picked it up and you had a letter in, that's like Manchester based. From the city of Manchester. Does anyone know that? Only, you know, I complained about it. A couple of others as well. He said, oh, fuck, we can't be having this. This is absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. And as I mentioned before, it's only football clubs, 2 football clubs, Liverpool and Everton, that keep us going. And that goes back to the 80s under Thatcher. Thatcher wanted to manage decline. This is why Liverpool is, and they still want Liverpool fucking gone. This is why you get the chants at Liverpool about Liverpool by the away fans. We're hated. What have we done to people? What's Liverpool done to people? And yes, when they have a thing, a poll or whatever, which is the nicest place to visit and the warmest and friendliest, where is it? It's Liverpool. It's Liverpool, and yet fucking hate. I always remember 2 of my students, and they didn't know who I was, the parents of these people. And I had to give a talk to them. They never had a fucking clue. So anyway, I went in, and they were all mingling about, and they didn't know who I was. They hadn't a clue. And they were saying, I fucking heard them saying, do you know what? You know, I didn't want my daughter to come. I didn't want my son to come out of this Liverpool. You know, it's awful, isn't it? Fucking going on. And I was just standing there, you know, got a cup of tea, just standing there. They were just looking at me, never had a fucking clue who I was. And then when it was time, I had to go around and I had to go up these little steps to a podium. You know, it was, you know, like a stage. And I went on, and I could see, I just looked, because I observe people. And they just looked and went, and I mentioned everything. I said, I overheard concerned parents, you know, that they didn't want to send their daughters or sons to Liverpool, and went on them from there. I said, I'm not here to reassure you how good Liverpool is, how good the people of Liverpool are, how warm they are. If you're lost in Liverpool, they would gladly bring you. And I gave the, do you ever remember when they were voting for the capital of culture? And this is what I brought up. And it was Tessa Sanderson. And she, you know, there was different cities, weren't they, including Newcastle, Oxford, Coventry. Anyway, they were vying for it. And Tessa Sanderson came here. And I always forget this fella's name. I'm awfully sorry. He's well known. Big, I don't know whether he's dead now or not. And he was very vociferous as well. You know, people listen to this. I forget his name. And anyway, Tessa Sanderson, let's see here. And she gets, they're all meeting in Liverpool, and they had to meet at a hotel. She gets off at Lime Street. And anyway, she goes down the steps of Lime Street up the station into Lime Street. Because she didn't know where to go. As soon as she got off the train, she only had to turn left, and there was loads of taxis, but she gets up. And she's standing there. And she asked this couple, the couple say to her, sorry, are you lost? And they didn't know who she was. And she said, I've got to get to this certain hotel. And a taxi driver came down and he stopped. Wound his window down. He said, you're all right there? You know, because what he's seen the couple pointing to Tessa Sanderson, you know, where to go. And he said, and they said to the taxi driver, the girl's lost. She needs to get to some hotel. And he went, yeah, I'll get in. He said, I've finished. He said, jump in, I'll drop you off there. No problem, I'm going that way anyway. She thanked the people. She jumped in the cab. He gets to the hotel. And he didn't even know her. And she said, oh, how much do we owe you, thank you? He said, you're all right, love, I was passing here. Honestly, get out. There's your hotel, go and enjoy your lunch. That's what he said to her. Got up. And she brought that up when they were voting. After visiting all these places. And, oh, please, I forget this fella's name. This fella, well known he is. He was a judge as well, but he was the main man. And he mentioned Liverpool at this meeting, you know, when they were saying, well, we love them. When, I'll tell you something at the end of it, right? If you know Carol Malone, she used to write for the Daily Mirror. Yeah. Carol Malone, is it, or Maloney? Malone, isn't it? Carol Malone, that fucking blonde one. Anyway, what had happened was, Tessa Sanderson gave that story. And he said, okay, he said, I've been visiting all these places, all of them. He said, and this is the capital of culture we're talking about. What city should be all the, you know, the prestigious capital of culture of the UK? And he gave his story. He goes into a pub, he said. I'll tell you where the pub is as well in a moment. He goes into the pub. Now, he said he's been into every single pub. As he says, you know, the capital of culture. Every single pub in every city that he visited, he put in to be the main city. And he asked for a certain beer, a European beer. And none had it. So he goes into Liverpool. And I'll tell you where he goes into, the Crown on Lime Street. He said, I goes in, he said, there was two fellas just standing at the bar, no one else was in there. He goes in, the barman, and he asked for this beer, and the barman went, hang on a sec, mate. Now, you can imagine this fella, tall he is, you know, grey hair, like me, slick back, but more presentable than this thing, and suit, tie. They hadn't a clue who he was. The two lads at the bar, and the lad says, hang on a minute, the barman, and he lifted the thing up to go down into the cellar. And the lad said, that's an unusual beer, isn't it, that you're asking for? Never heard of that. And his mate said, I have, though. I have. When we were in Spain, I've heard it, and it's sold in Spain as well. He said, that's what he said, the lad, or Portugal, one of them. And the lad came back, and it was a crate, and it was beer. It wasn't a wooden crate, just, what you get your beer in anyway. So we put it down, it clinked, and he took it out. He said, this is the one you mean, isn't it? And he said, yeah. There's a Bob, someone. Bob. I'm sure he's as nice as he is. And anyway, he said, Daddy. And he went, yeah, that's it. Good man. And he went, give him a glass, big bottle. And he went, how much is that? And the two lads at the bar went, yeah, we'll get that, mate, you're all right. And he said, that's the capital of culture. Liverpool. With the beer. With the barman. With the two lads. Two customers, he said. The two customers. Then he pointed to there, said Tessa Sanderson, and that couple who was pointing directions to where this hotel is. And the taxi driver who brought her down, put her off and said, no, you're all right, I was coming this way anyway. That's the capital of culture. That's Liverpool. And yet you're as in the 80s, a woman by the name of Margaret Thatcher and Sir Geoffrey Howe, who wanted to manage decline our great city, manage decline it into nothing, because the people of Liverpool, me and my fellow citizens, weren't worth it. So you see how it is. You see how it is. Liverpool forgotten. Said, right, they're not even on the fucking map, for God's sake. Not on the map. Do you see why I get disillusioned? I'm not talking about ordinary people here. I'm not talking about someone who lives down in Folkestone, or someone who lives up by Newcastle, Durham, someone who lives in the Middle England, around Birmingham. Not interested. Not talking about them. I'm talking about horrible people who look at Liverpool like Thatcher did, and they still do. Football fans are the worst. Not all, a few of them. Because when football fans come here, I'm talking about away fans, to see their club play at Anfield, they have a great time here, they say it. But you get other fans, don't you, who have a different agenda about Liverpool. That's why I try to give about the city, giving so much to the world. Try to do it, but I get sidetracked. I don't mind that, by the way. But I love my city. I love it, love the people. I really do. But when you get politicians disregarding Liverpool, and even the BBC with its weather map, with its weather map, and the government trying to make Manchester bigger. So we see there's lots of things like that. Lots of it. I'll give you an example. I was just sitting there. This is long before all this. I'm going back a few years ago. And I think I mentioned this the other night. I don't know whether I did or not. I'm not quite so sure. And I seen that Flinders fella, talking. And he's going on about the railway, the Manchester to Liverpool railway. I've had murder over there when we had the capital of culture, by the way. And I went up to the, I forget this fucking fella's name. And he said, I want to show you something, Frank. These were like merging Twin City with New York. And I said, yeah, go on. And he was showing things were brilliant. Then all of a sudden, I fucking said about the railway. And he said, the Manchester to Liverpool. I said, fuck off. I just went berserk. I said, the Manchester to Liverpool. He said, oh, it makes no... I said, it makes a hell of a lot of difference. I forget his second name, this fella. Max's name was. I said, it makes a hell of a lot of fucking difference. I said, are you having a laugh? If a New Yorker, it was there and they go, oh, man, Manchester to Liverpool, oh, right, They did the railway. Because that's what was mentioned. The Manchester, first in the world, Manchester to Liverpool railway. But first in it. So who do you think? I fucking fumed. I said, don't you put that out. I said, I'll fucking sue you if you do. He went, oh. And there was this, no disrespect, Mr. B, there was this Scottish fella. And I used to go to meetings and he was always there. And I said, what the fuck do you know about Liverpool? And he went, oh. Because I was fuming with Story bringing in all these fellas from Manchester. That's Sir Bob Scott, remember? Then they were asking me to go down and give these fucking people a local history. I said, fucking get Liverpool people in, they fucking know about it. Don't be fucking telling me to go down all the time. And anyway, I was like, listen, Frank, just go down. So I went down. And I said, listen, I'm giving up my fucking time here. I was working, I was lecturing. I said, but am I going to get paid for this? And they went, yeah. Oh, you'll be paid. I said, okay, still haven't been fucking paid off. Fucking story for you, that. Mike Story, the leader of our council, who fucking sold Liverpool, along with fucking Thatcher 10 years previous. And another Tory MP from a place called Billericay, Theresa Gorman, Tory MP, said, let's build a wall around Liverpool to show future generations how they lived. That was in 1992, she said. Oh, well. Excuse me. Sorry about that, Ant, but that's when. But Liverpool is forgotten by governments. We're just gradually going off the map and no one can see it. I can. A lad named Gary Rigby can. Disappearing. 061. I'll guarantee you now they would love to change it to, 051 to 061 and put Manchester as 051. I'm telling you now. And Phil says, if you got it, it was discussed earlier. Thank you, Phil. Oh, we're busy. Hello, Phil, mate. Phil. Frank, the merchandising will go through the roof worldwide if Bezos gets involved. For him, it will. Where do you think that money's going? Hey, it's going to John Henry. He's not like a part. He's bringing him in. That's not going to Liverpool Football Club. That's going to John Henry and Fenway Sports. Not to Liverpool. I hope you fucking realise that. And you're getting fans, I'm sorry to say this, but they haven't a fucking clue. Saying, oh yeah, we're going to buy loads of players. No, we're not. No, we're fucking not. FSG are quids in by making mega profits while we struggle to make key signings as their bad sellouts. Them Scrooges know where now we're stepping into the future unknown. It's bad news. I would not have allowed that Bezos near my club. I'm a Scouser. I know about Bezos. Have a guess who his fucking mate is, by the way. Fucking hell. I've just been talking about the fucking Banderites. Going around killing Russian-speaking fucking people. Russian-speaking. Being executed even now. Right now as we speak. And who else is being killed, by the way? Another little place. Every day. Every night. As we're speaking. Who else? Fucking Bezos. Sorry, I don't want him. I don't fucking want him near my club. Bella to Tosca. Yes, that's right. If PD in Italy, I think we'll be finished. Italy is changing in so many ways already. And Stephen says, we're the most hated club in the world, Frank. And that's a bloody big fact. We are. We are. Why? I've just been explaining. about, I'm talking about parents and their, young kids who are becoming graduates saying, I'm going to Liverpool University. Brilliant. And what happens? Don't go there. Don't go there. Go to somewhere else. This is the parents. Where are they getting this from? Phil says, Frank, I've met Esther McVeigh. She used to be a good laugh in company, but somehow she became a politician and is now a plonker. Esther McVeigh is a fucking phony like the rest of them. Carol Malone, I forgot to mention her when I was talking about the capital of culture. Have a guess what she said when Liverpool was chosen instead of her city of Newcastle. We have more history and culture in a quarter of a mile, and 1/4 of a square mile, than the whole of Liverpool have had in their history since being a city. Carol fucking Malone said that. Oh, fuck me. Okay, now. And Freddie is a zombie. Lads, why are we all typing in all caps? And as Phil says, to help Frankie's eyes. Cheers, mate, says Freddie the zombie. Fred is a zombie. Can't make this up. Great names, like. My daughter's just shared about some fella died today. Always got fucking bad news, mate. Excuse me. Must have just found it. Found it unresponsive. He wasn't a drug addict or nothing like that. He's just an ordinary fella like us. We write in caps so Frank can... Fucking hell, Francine. Sorry about that. We write in caps so Frank can see the chat. So, help Frank on the show. Thank you, people. Thank you for that. And Phil says, Frank, you're correct. Very rare Liverpool on map. Mind you, Google Maps tries not to name Russia. Loads of dotted lines that side of their dream dissection of Russia. Look, I will. It's shocking. Shocking. Frank, there is no vehicle registration office in Liverpool. The closest is in Manchester, Stewart. Okay, well, if you want Phil, you know. Well, anyway, it's not going to have a fucking letter M on. I seen to that. And a few others. People like Liverpool until they visit the city. Then they love it, says Gary Rigby. That's what I mean about people, you know. I was standing in it. I was wanting to go into. I've never ever been. I'm being honest. Every time I went to Rome, I never ever went into the Colosseum, ever, and I knew all about it. I've got a fucking hair there, and it keeps falling down. Fucking hell, fuck off. Still there. Oh. Anyway, I was standing in the queue, and I was a fucking big queue. Because she said, shall we go in this? I said, what for? I said, you're only looking at a big shaking, you know. She said, no. I'm always going to Pompeii with you and everywhere else. I want to go, and here, you never go in. I said, okay, because the fucking queue is long. So anyway, standing in the queue, and just a couple of people up through this, was, there was two couples. One were foreign and the other were, no, it wasn't. They were Australian. They were Londoners. Well, down south. They weren't Londoners. Anyway, through this. They were talking, and I was just standing there. She's filling her with ice cream. And standing there, and I could hear them. And one of them, this foreign couple, were they Norwegian or Swedes? I forget now. Well, anyway, one of them, Scandinavian, said, oh, yeah, we go to, they said something, have you ever been to something like that? No. And he said, this couple said, we go to Liverpool. What a wonderful place. This Norwegian, let's call them Norwegian, this Norwegian couple. And they went, oh, no, we've never been north. Never been. The only furthest north we've been, but we flew there, was to Scotland to see Mr. B. Said we went to a wedding up there, but that was it. And then flew back, never been north. This is a couple. And this couple said, go to Liverpool. It's beautiful. And there's what they said. They have buildings, and they just went like this, like the Colosseum. And they went, oh, they must have thought that we had Roman ruins or something, So anyway, I said to her, listen, I'm just going to have a word with these. So I walked up and said, excuse me. I said, I'm from Liverpool. I said, and I complimented the couple, the Norwegian couple on, Liverpool. I said, thank you so much. And I said to the couple, I said, you might think that we've got Roman ruins. I said, no, we haven't. We've got the finest neoclassical buildings in the whole of Europe. I said, in fact, the whole of the world. I said, if you don't believe me, I said, Prince Charles said it to me because of his great-great-grandmother, Queen Victoria, said it as well about this particular place. And he looked at me. I said, look, I tell you what. I said, have you got a pen, paper? And this, no, they have everything in the bag. Yeah. And I said, yeah. I said, if you ever visit Liverpool, give me a ring. I said, just give me a ring and I'll show you around. And he went, oh, thank you. They were polite. They weren't like, oh, fuck off. I'll go to Liverpool. And I did get a ring at 6:30 in the morning. One morning. I said, hello. I thought it was work, saying, university fucking blown up or it's on fire. So anyway, they said, we're on a train, we're coming into Lime Street at 7:30. And you promised us, remember us outside the Colosseum in Rome? And I went, yeah. This was this was in the October. I seen them at the end of August outside the Colosseum. So anyway, I got ready and shut down and seen them. I said, there's a cafe. You're off the train, just go right into the cafe. So I'll see you there, I'll find you. Okay. And I seen a lovely couple. And I brought them around. And they couldn't believe St. George's Hall. They couldn't believe the Sessions House. They couldn't believe the library. They couldn't believe anything. Right down to the Technical College, which is now a museum. They couldn't believe the library building, everything. But I showed them. Couldn't believe it. And the history behind it. And they said, we're going home tonight, but when we go home, we will be coming back for a few days and we'll tell our friends. Where did they come from? forget where they came from. They were Southerners. Anyway. But you're right there, Gary. They do until they come. Yes, my relatives do vote for Georgia, as I do. Unfortunately, Tuscany has had a big communist following for years. Lucca isn't, though. But the cities that have I'm not a supporter of Georgia, unfortunately, Toscana. She's a fucking globalist. This is what she supplies fucking Ukraine with everything. She's afraid of von der Leyen. She's not looking after her own people. All of them don't look after their own people. All Europe, that is. There's 4.5 million kids below the poverty line in this country. They go to school without breakfast. Yet we help Ukraine with billions. What for? Are you going to go bring your little fucking blue and yellow flag and try and find out where Zelensky's got his vineyard and wave it? You'll be all right. No, totally disagree with you there. 100% Toscana. Sorry. It's your country. But I visit your country. And I see where it's going wrong because of the EU. Just contradicts yourself there, look. Unfortunately, Tuscany has a big communist following for years. Lucca isn't, though. But the cities that have far left councils are a mess full of illegals. Who do you think wants to stop them? Maloney's just come out and said it. Oh, we've got to stop the illegals. Come, she's fucking saying it, yeah, boys and girls, come in. The door's fucking open. The Camorra, you've heard of the Camorra, haven't you? They went like that in Lampedusa. You better fucking stop these from coming in, or we're going to fucking stop them. The Camorra. Sicilia. Napoli. Gary, Liverpool is actually massive, but they don't want you to know exactly. They don't. Steamer Holland. A lot of major bands only play in Wembley, Manchester, and Birmingham. And you know that fucking story again? I was at a fringe meeting. No, it wasn't. It was at a major meeting. And this is the run-up. And he stopped us from having a Millennium building. Remember that? Fucking him. And they were talking about an arena. And here's what I said. I said, listen, it's no use building a fucking tent for major stars coming over, and we're putting them in a tent at the Pierhead. I said, like Diana Ross came over, and we put her in a tent. I said, we've got to build an arena that could hold at least 40,000 people. And I was shouted down. And I said, well, yeah, I'll tell you what. If you don't have an arena to hold 40,000, how about 25 to 30 then? 25,000 to 30,000? I said, I'll tell you for why. I said, what's his name? Oh, what's his fucking name? Fucking gone again. I'm cracking up, forgetting names. Sweet Caroline, him, and Barbara Streisand. The pair of them said, they wanted to go to, they said, the arena will be good. I said, the fucking won't. It's too small. And I was vindicated. And I had it there, and I said, yeah, look, that's what they said. It's a small venue. It's too small for us to appear. So we go to Manchester Arena. That's double the size. Think about it. Story and his Manchester mates who fucking ran the capital of culture, who fucking stopped us from doing everything. Them. Stopped us. Stopped us. And we never got an arena. What are they saying now? Oh, we'll have to build a bigger arena. That was story, that. Barbara Streisand. We need a bigger stadium. That's why we have to go to Manchester. I forget who said it. And again, fucking hell. I said, we'd rather play at Liverpool, the home of the Beatles. But we can't. We have to go up there. To Manchester. Anyway, it's only up the road because, their road, 200 miles isn't nothing to them. They're the next door fucking neighbour in America, aren't they? And Phil says Frank once the $6 billion Liverpool Waters invested is completed, will be one of the best residential waterfronts in the UK, possibly why the likes of Bezos is getting in. Did you know that? What's his fucking name? Who's the sidekick of Rick? Story, Mike Story. Who was it? Who was the fucking sidekick? I always forget his name. Enshaw. Fucking Enshaw, him. And I met him in St. John's Garden. Well, I never met him. I never said, I'll see you in St. John's Garden. I seen him. I went over to him. I said, you alongside Story, you fucking destroyed us. And he was like that, standing there. I said, you fucking destroyed us. I said, you got a gang of fucking Manchester fellas in to fucking run our capital of culture. Well, we could have done it and done a better job. I said it was good, but we would have done a far better job. We know our shit. I had to fucking go down and give him fucking lectures about Liverpool, the history of Liverpool. And to these people who you brought in. And you brought in an Australian, and we had to end up fucking Australian for the European capital of culture, and we had to end up giving us 600,000 quid. I've had fucking murder with them all, me. And Bella says, Toscana, Sicily, particularly the small islands of Lampedusa, experiences the heaviest pressure as the main landing point for sea arrivals, often overwhelming local reception facilities infrastructure. That's why the Camorra are fucking stopping them. There you go. And Bella says, Toscana, my family lived there. It's devastating. No, it says, isn't it devastating? It isn't devastating. I don't know. I don't understand that thing. Stroke NS. Birmingham is still the second largest city, but Manchester is desperate to be. Yeah, that's why they're bringing it, incorporating other things. You know, we're bringing that, look. But I've always said that Liverpool is a very small city centre. And believe it or not, I was bringing Robin Gibb around. Yeah. You know him. And I said to her, he said to me, Daddy, he said, boy, he said, you never the city centre is extraordinary and so compact. I said, yeah. He said, it's beautiful. I said, yeah. He said, and I didn't realise the history. Because he loved history, that's his way. He said, can you get me around Liverpool, you know? Been told so much about it. And I was showing him, giving him the history, giving him the American connection, giving everything, to be honest, the Irish. And he was originally from Manchester, the Bee Gees. His family then went to Australia to see Mrs. G-Ship. But he loved it. As myself, I don't know anyone says the lovely Toscana. In Italy, who wants the illegals there? They destroy, they attack the locals. They don't want to integrate. They don't want to change it. They want to change Italy to suit themselves with Sharia law. Yes. And Georgia Maloney's invited them all over. Now she's gone, oh, I might be getting kicked out next year, 27. Oh, I've got to change. Too fucking late for it. She shouldn't have allowed it. She shouldn't have taken any notice of von der Leyen and the Schengen law. She's walked away from it. She should have took notice of Viktor Orban. But what has she said to Georgia? Von der Leyen, we have tools. We have tools. Well, they won't have fucking tools next year if this fella gets in to chase all these out. The worst thing Italy could do, or any fucking one else in Europe, is invite NATO. NATO is America. I'd rather have this lot. No, this lot here. So you're watching that here, no way, Tosca? Bella, I watch Italian TV, especially the news, and Paolo Del Delio. He's from Lucca, and a friend of my cousin's is heartbreaking. Oh, yeah, see? Lucca, I wanted to go there. I was gonna go over, wasn't I, in September next month, but can't be going anywhere. Maybe little operation. Always wanted to go to Lucca, visit Lucca. Puccini. Wanted to visit his home. Like most high-profile hits and side jobs, of course. I did a program on Ukraine, and von der Leyen, you know, to get a job with von der Leyen, you know, that the WEF put her in charge, and, you know, and all the cowards and the, you know, all the fucking idiots followed her. And she only had to say, Russia, do you like it or don't? And if you said, I don't, you got a job. That's all. That was your fucking interview. you might think that I'm messing up, it's true. Do you like Russia or not? Don't like Russia. You got a job. Bella, Toscana, they are trying to destroy our culture. They're everywhere. What did I say? If you've been taking any notice of what I said about the Americans to destabilize the Middle East, deliberately to destabilize it, so you get all the migrants going in. There's only one place that they can go in, including Africa, is Europe. And they wanted it destabilized. What you'll have, say like this carries on. This is not a prediction, by the way, honestly. It's not. If you go to Vegas, people will be going to Vegas to see the pyramids and the Eiffel Tower. That's what America wants. I know you might think I'm messing, but I'm fucking not. And Phil says to Bella, I travel a lot in Europe. In Italy, I want to experience Italian way of life. Same as Germany, France, Portugal, etc., etc. But the globalists want to destroy the culture. And they're doing it very nicely indeed. They're doing it here, as you know. Stephen, I love my city to death and hate the way we are hated across the nation. It's bad news, says Stephen Cochran. And Bella to Phil. This is Bella's daughter, Marcella. You are so right. Oh, so I've been fucking wrong, have I, Marcella? Thanks very much. Things are getting destroyed. Europe, if governments don't wake up soon, everything will be destroyed. Culture, history, of course. I've just said a minute ago, haven't I? You'll be going over to see the pyramids, the Eiffel Tower, and everything else that they're putting in Vegas. Why do you need to go to Paris when you can? And they'll be saying, well, we had the Eiffel Tower first, and Paris copied it. We had the pyramids here, and they copied them Egyptians. Oh. Phil, exactly. I'm the same. I want him to immerse in the culture of the country and vision. I like differences. And Gary says, it's a farce. This greater Manchester nonsense, all they did was swallow up all the surrounding towns that were in Cheshire and Lancashire. Yeah. The city itself is tiny. Are you talking about Manchester City or Liverpool's? Gary. Toscana. Years ago, I paid for parking near the docks. The machine took my money, but no ticket. A group of cage fighters came over and wanted to pay. That's Scousers for you. Great friendly people. Wish I was one. One of them could have been my grandson. One of them could have been my grandson. And Bella says, thank you, Franco Marcella. Thank you, Franco Marcella. I couldn't have put it better myself. Liverpool is the great city in my eyes. I was born here and I love it. And I will die here. Ah, says the lovely Marcella. Scouser. Italian Scouser. Marcella, you would have been made up with Little Italy, where my family came over, went there, and grew up there. And because of, forgive me for this, I hate saying it, I hate talking about it, I hate it honestly. Sectarianism. They said, we don't want a Little Italy here. Get rid of it. They were the councillors at the time. A fella named Harry Longbottom. Horrible man. Lodge. Grand Master of the Lodge. And Little Italy was off Scotland Road. And it became Jerry Gardens and Jerry Crescent. That's where I grew up. But go down here. It's a game, Frank. I have to go and save the win. Imogen. Save the world. Look after yourself, all. Says Settler. The man with the exotic name, the Hollywood star, who's dating Jen. Lucky man. Who wanted to take the granddad? Yeah, that's another. I'm sorry. The biggest snob ever in this country, believe it or not. You might all go, oh, no. But I'm telling you, the biggest snob ever in this country was the Queen Mother. Because what she wants, she came up to the Grand National and she said, we can't have a deal. Let's bring it down to Sandown or Epsom. Let's just bring it down here. Because we can't have people with funny accents. Funny speaking, she said, not accents. Funny speaking people with little hats on. Caps. Let's just bring it away. Our Grand National. I wasn't around like to say anything then. Albeit I was born. She said it. The Queen Mother. The Queen Mother. And Phil Frank, three parts of Post. Granada reports, anti-Liverpool. Yeah. What's that? Orlando. Years ago, car-related crime stats released a news segment interviewed a Liverpool Scally up next to a police matrix van. Yeah, he couldn't make it. I was watching something and it was about the Mersey. And if you remember, Phil, you're a Scouser. If you remember, Phil, or Gary, do you know by the Chinese Arch? Remember those tenements? They was built in the 50s, but they were being knocked down for their housing. And this was about the Mersey. And they fucking interviewed a fella with them in the background with smashed roofs and windows. And no Mersey. I put a complaint in. I said, he's a fucking disgusting. Never swore like in my email. Never got a reply like. No reply. She said, did you know Comic Relief funded a small team to fact-check bad press about Liverpool as young Liverpudlians were being disadvantaged in academia and job opportunities. They contacted the news. Comic Relief, eh? Comic fucking Relief. And the producer asked why they chose Liverpool for the car crime report. And she said, because it's one of the largest cities, obviously a huge crime problems. The team asked her what position Liverpool was in the car crime statistics. She didn't know, but obviously in the top 5, Frank, Liverpool wasn't even in the top 20. Big girls, aren't they? The Echo moved, says Steve Mulholland, to Manchester. Yeah, they went to Oldham, didn't they? I won't buy it. I will never. That's why I'll never buy it anymore. The Echo. Why should I read fucking Manchester print? No disrespect to the ordinary Manx, like. What do they know? It's like, I'll have to say this, please. I know it's a bit of football. I've been looking at fucking pods today, and all as I've been getting is Curtis Jones. Every fucking one. And only because I know a couple of, the lads on the pods. I'm talking about the presenters. I wanted to go on and go, how many of you are fucking scousers in this chat here and on the fucking panel? How many of you? And you're going on about Curtis Jones. You've been going on him for 2 years. Curtis Jones this is what I wanted to say. They're fucking horrible. I like Curtis Jones. Remember, keep bringing us up. They haven't a fucking clue about Scouse mentality. Like Marcella there. I was born in Liverpool and I'll die here and everything. She's half Italian. But we get the wrong fucking press all the time. Every time. We stick together. You seen Curtis Jones with that to Corey at Goodison when that prick was fucking intimidating our fans. And our fans were going mad. Who ran over and fucking stopped him, grabbed hold of him? Who? Wasn't Virgil van Dijk, was it? Wasn't fucking Henderson. Wasn't any of them, was it? Or has he gone? Remember a couple of seasons ago? It was Curtis Jones. That Scout mentality. That's what it's all about. We stick to fucking together. And these pricks want fucking Curtis away. I mean, you notice there's not too many football podcasts anymore. Because it fucking grinds me. And they were all going on about how he was garbage against it. Wouldn't you be? If a member of your family is saying, have you heard what these pricks are saying about you, Curtis? It's just like someone calling Liverpool. I go mad. Marcella will go mad. It's calling us. Frank, you were right about blocking the letter. But to shut the office, but to shut the office used to be in Water Street. Oh, go away, did he? That's right. Where did we go? I thought we went to Old George Street. I forget where we went. Losing it, mate. The Echo sold their souls, says Steve McLaughlin. Moving to Salford Quays, Manchester. Do you ever remember Judy and the other fella? And they used to do down by the docks, the pump house, actually. Do you ever remember that? They used to have a morning show, and it was brilliant. And I used to look over and say, you had that Zibby, didn't you? That paedophile jumping on a little thing of England's and saying about the weather. Him. But it was brilliant, not him, but it was brilliant down there, and he fucking got it moved to Manchester. Took it away from us. Unbroken Heart of Mersey. Oh, it's the poem. Sorry, my darling. Unbroken Heart of Mersey. They mock our name with narrow minds. Blind to the strength of our city finds. A mighty heart, fierce and... I'm sorry, I'm going to read that again. I never put it up, I'm sorry. Bella. Unbroken Heart of Mersey, they mock our name with narrow minds. Blind to the strength of our city finds a mighty heart, fierce and true. No outside hate can ever subdue. Who's that? From our little poet laureate. Great, isn't she, little Bella? Oh, mamma mia. Bellissima. Bellissima. And Steve, the mighty Tune Army will be full of it next week with the bad chance towards us Scousers. Next week, hopefully, come away with 3 points on famous wins. So up the Reds, you'll never walk alone. Justice for the 97, says Stephen Coughlin. Oh, fuck. It was great, that. A little poem there. Narrow minds. Gary Rigby. It's the British people who hate Liverpool. Tourists love it, of course. Of course they do. Robin Gibb. Robin Gibb. Hi, Frank and listeners. How are you, Frank? Says Maggie Young. Maggie's been out tonight. She's been down and, wandering around Dale Street, the Cavan Walks and places like that. She's absolutely, I know she's pissed now. Drunk, I know that. Say, that's why she's late. Stephen. The Echo Arena too small to hold future events like concerts, as most bands will come because of it. Yeah. It's annoying. Yeah. Said it. Neil Diamond, you're right there. I couldn't think. Neil Diamond. He wouldn't come because he said it's too small. See, don't forget, they get like an idea of the capacity that's going to fill an arena. And he said it's too small. And Stephen Cook, yeah, it does 10,000. So we need a bigger arena to attract major acts to come to the city. I gave a talk there, you know. Would you believe that? I gave a talk in the arena. And it was funny. Because when I went down, I was outside and I said, I'll go in a minute. So I'm standing outside. So anyway, I went, right, better get in and see whoever, see before I start talking. So anyway, as I was at the arena, it goes round like that, you know, the offices and things. So I was following this thing around. And what I seen coming towards me was a fella in a suit, tie. And I looked at him and I went, oh, Tim, must be coming to see me. And then he stopped in mid tracks, turns around, went to a door. So I just put on a little bit of a spurt, you know. And he opened the door. And as he opened it, you know, I grabbed hold of it and just a bit wider. So I walked in because I thought he was coming to me, you know, as you do, the suit and a tie. And he was Asian. He was an Indian. I didn't know. So anyway, he goes in. And I couldn't get out again. Do you know what I walked into? An Indian wedding. An Indian wedding was carrying on, and I thought it was the venue for me talk. The fella who came in, and he let me out, and he explained. He said, I thought you were a bit out of place. I said, I don't know, I just seen you. And because I was in a suit and a tie. He said, I thought you were a guest. I said, no, I'm giving a talk. I don't know where to go. And he brought me along then. And he said, yeah, you're in here. You can hear them all. And then I opened the door. For all these people, you know. Yeah. A nice Indian wedding I went to. Stephen, can everyone hit the likes for Frank? No one hits them. Honest to God. The main man and support the channel, thanks. You'll never walk alone. Thank you, Stephen. Shame, really. Without Liverpool, most people, say Steve Holland, wouldn't be able to travel because we have the passport office. We do. And you know what? It used to be it's terrible. It used to be along Old Wall Street. Now they moved into India buildings, and I used to bring people into India buildings. Now you can't get in. Ridiculous. Can't get into any buildings now. I'm back again, says the Woodmaster, you missed it all, mate. Very good chat all round. So now, go where you lie. You've been on your boat. You've been trying to move your boat, haven't you? You've been throwing buckets of water down the thing to get it floated. And Gary said, I was talking about Manchester, Frank. It's tiny. If you don't count, great. Oh, no, it is. Yeah, of course. I thought when I mentioned about Robin Gibb and he was saying about how compact our city is, I said, yeah. He said, but beautiful. Even Jurgen Klopp said it, didn't he? Even Andoni said it. He said, oh, what a wonderful city. But he said it with a Spanish accent. I've heard people calling London Road Little Turkey. Yeah. Don't forget, I grew up around there. And I met one of the old neighbours a couple of years ago. And he said, what do you think of Little Marmaris? I said, where's that? He said, London Road. I said, oh, Little Turkey. He said, yeah. So it gets called turkey and marmaras, Gary. And Wood says, the club wants Jones out, our only scouser, and he's a good player. Even the academy doesn't have many scousers, and we need a Liverpool as a 2 or 3. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's the fans who want him out, mostly. That fucking Sabozla, I loved Tom, you know what I mean? But to give Costas the fucking armbands, he caused all that him. He fucking knew what he was doing. Phil says, Frank, we need scousers in the... Absolutely. This is what I'm going mad at. Some fan. They can fuck off for me. Honestly, the fucking lot of them. If you're not a scouser and you're fucking wishing them gone, go and support a fucking team near you instead of us. If you want a scouser out, proving they don't fucking like us. They just love the club, not the fucking city or a scouser. That proves it to me. And Phil, go Billy. Go Billy. Frank says, you're a living legend, not a legend. Oh, it's great, isn't it? And Steven says, remember the summer pops a few years? Yeah. But who fucking stopped the Beatle Festival? You know, no, we don't want the Beatle Festival. We call it International Festival. Fucking Joe Anderson. These are politicians, local politicians, who haven't a fucking clue. I wouldn't be surprised if they moved the passport office, says Gary. It's already been moved from. It used to be in. It used to be an India building, then it moved to Old All Street, then it moved fucking back again. That'll be moved to Manchester. Phil says, yeah, remember Michael Jackson comes. I bumped in there. Shall I say that? Will I have to go to Aintree and pay? I think it was, how much was it? 150, wasn't it? Something mad like that. Well, Frank, Cherry Gardens was a hard case area, but was as hard as the Four Squares. The Four Squares. I'll tell you something. I've mentioned this before, you know, Phil. I grew up where Cherry Gardens, Cherry Crescent was. Down there, I'm just saying down there. Like where I am now. You know, the area where I am. You have Fontenoy Gardens. And up there, you had the Four Squares. And up that way, you had the Bull Ring. Very hard people. Very hard, very tough. But I can only vouch for where I grew up. And you never seen any police cars or anything. And I'm just talking about the mates I grew up with. Not one of them ever went to jail or anything. Not one. But all good lads. These are the Macbeth crowd. when we were all going to a 21st birthday, because you had 21st, then you celebrated the 21st, one of the lads. And he said, they were shouting me. So I went out to the land and looked down. He said, are you ready? And where we're going? I said, yeah. They said, you go to a pub first, have a few bevies, and then go up the house. There are a couple of crates. I said, yeah. I said, look, lads, I'm going to see Macbeth. Because I had to go to see it. I had to. It was on the Empire. I said, I'm going to see Macbeth. And one of them said, bring him, it'll be all right, bring him along. I said, yeah, all right. I didn't want to get into a thing. I said, I'll just see you later. He said, okay. And when I went back to the house after seeing Macbeth came out, went to the house, said, all right, lads, the beer. And one of them said, where's that fella you went to see? Why did you bring him with you? I said, no, Macbeth. I said, oh, yeah, that Mac fella. Never brought him. Didn't want to get into it. Genuine, that. The Macbeth crowd called them after that. As I got older, like, much older. The Woodmaster. When Wacko Jacko came to the Aintree, he was hungry. What do you think? He said, Kia, oh, for fuck's sake. Remember that years ago when Michael Jackson came to him, he was a good performer. Was Wacko Jacko, yeah. But he was, in my opinion, I'm not ashamed to say it, I think he was a paedophile. You don't get a 40-odd-year-old fella in beds with kids. And as the spin says, oh, he never grew up. He wanted to be like Peter Pan. Oh, fuck off. Not having that. Wanted to be like Peter Pan, fucking sleeping with kids for years. Yeah, okay. Sorry, Frank. I meant moved out of Liverpool. All right. Never be sorry on this. People being sent up north and Cardiff instead of Liverpool passport office, says Maggie Young. I grew up near Myrtle Gardens, says Gary. Sydney Gardens. Both had bad, of course. I think any tenements have bad reputations, I'm being honest. Gary. Yes, a lot of areas had reputations, says Phil. See, that's why I say I only talk about my friends. They were hard lads, honestly. Could look after themselves, but not one of them went to fucking jail or trouble for that matter. And Maggie says, my mum was a midwife around your way, and she always said she felt safe because of what was said. The dads would meet her and walk her. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that nice? Scousers look after ourselves, to be honest. I'm going to finish, people. I've been on 3 hours. I've got a phone out front. Oh, yeah, I've got a phone there. And the Woodmaster says, great show, best on YouTube. You're only saying that, Woodmaster, because you're fucking stuck and you can't say it because of the drought. You should get awards for like, oh. I don't think that's Toscana will give me an award. Buonanotte, Franco, buonanotte, Bella. Cara mia bella. Io te amo. Gary. Excellent show, Frank. Thank you, Gary. We've sorted Liverpool, but we haven't really, have we? You know, I think the country has to sort Liverpool out, governments has to sort Liverpool out, and our stupid politicians have to sort them out, sort us out. Ah, Phil, good show again. Some serious in quite a few laughs. I'm on a sunken ship waiting for Norway. Don't get the rains or Norway. The floods. It'll be you and the ducks. There's ducks where I live, you know. You know where I live, on the canal. I wonder if they're fucking walking instead of paddling. I don't know how I don't know whether they're dried up. Good night. God bless, Frank and chatters. See you on the next one for Liverpool versus Cup. Yeah. Yeah. You never walk alone. JFT 97. Peace out. Yeah, I'm doing a watch along, aren't I? Sunday. Get me haircut tomorrow. Gonna get it short. I'll have to. And Johan, he said, Frank, I was absolutely knackered last night. I really was. And I had to finish abruptly because I was falling asleep. And I'm okay now, you know, like tonight. So I've got to be up early tomorrow. Well, not early. To get me haircut. You know, wash me mad head. Ready for the barber. John the barber. Great fella. Lovely. But I'm getting it cut short. So you'll see me with a mad little head. Big fat face and a mad head. Short hair. None of this at the back. Go. You'll be seeing me ears. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, me ears. So until Sunday, if you join me for the watch along, my granddaughter's going with Ekatike on her back. She loves Ekatike. I said, he's injured. But she's going, she can't wait. And she's going with Francine, obviously. So hopefully I'll see you on Sunday. If I don't see you Sunday, the history show on, I'll try and get what I want to do about the first of Liverpool, because I always get sidetracked, don't I? Got to thank these. Oh, fucking hell, I forgot. Gap Patent Services. Listen, get them in. If you know anyone who's an NHS worker or elderly, they get special discounts. Get them in. Even if you don't. Honestly, even if you don't, one of those, you know, elderly or whatever, and you want them decorating, so get them in. Tell them to give you the price without any obligation. Please. They're good, and they sponsor every single Frank Carlyle show. Every single one. Gap Patent Services. So don't forget, if you know anyone, elderly, wanting to do some decorating, get them in. Special discount. An NHS worker, if you know anyone, just say, listen, get them in. Don't be struggling trying to decorate and go to work at the same time. Okay? Thank you, people. Thank you, Gap Patent Services. And as Phil says, good night, everyone. And on that wonderful note of good night, everyone. Don't forget, I've got my football show next month, Tuesday. I'll have a post-match after the watch-along as well. See how many fellas we've signed within 48 hours, eh? Maggie Young. Night Maggie. Maggie by name, Young by nature. How's that, Maggie? Is that nice? Thanks a lot, people. See you all, hopefully see you, some of you Sunday. If not, see you Monday. Thank you. And to our lovely Italian ladies, buonanotte. Ci vediamo. Ci vediamo. Domenica. Che calcio. Ciao. Ciao tutti. Ciao everyone. Bye.